Uploading.
What the hell is that?
Sir, tractor beam is broken. Red alert!
Before I delve deeply into this breakdown, it should be fair to say that this includes large and arguably disappointing spoilers that come at the end of Picard Season 3. If you have not watched Star Trek Picard Season 3 and don't want to see spoilers, then you may want to wait till you've watched it. If you've already seen the series, or don't care, well, let's just get into the betrayal of the USS Titan.
Hello, beautiful.
Admiral Picard, Captain Riker, welcome to the Titan. Initiate docking sequence.
In 2401, the actual way the Borg guarantee that they can never be destroyed was exposed. Another video coming on that shortly, don't you worry. The entirety of Starfleet had been ultimately assimilated, and they were about to destroy Earth. It was the end of the Federation, and likely would have left a scar on the entirety of the Alpha Quadrant. I know many believed it was the destruction of the universe as well, but a combined Alpha and Beta Quadrant, along with Dominion support, probably could have defeated Starfleet. Sorry, Picard. But anyway, everything was about to end for those under the banner of the Federation, and then, well, a man named Shaw came.
Do you mind?
Oh. Sorry. Just feeling chipper. Not because you're about to have your asses handed to you now. Just chipper.
And his vessel, the USS Titan A. They arrived and saved the day. With the help of previous Starfleet heroes and a relic vessel of the past, the Borg were defeated and everyone was able to return to their happy lives. Well, except for the massive amount of dead geriatrics, they were at the end of their span anyway. But, you may ask, what happens to the Titan A? What is it given for its service? Well, dear viewer, it was rechristened to the USS Enterprise G. This, for me, was disappointing, for both in-universe and out-of-universe reasons. But let's get something out of the way first. It's not unheard of, it's not even uncharacteristic of Starfleet, and it's not something to get angry about. It's honestly just, and I keep using this word, disappointing, but something Starfleet might do. Let's analyze. We know that Starfleet changes the names of vessels. This happened at least once on screen with the USS Sao Paulo being renamed the USS Defiant. A lot of critics will say that in that instance you took a ship that wasn't worthy of note and put the name Defiant on it. But we don't know the Sao Paulo's service. It might have been one of the greats during the Dominion War, and ask any service member about their vessel and see if they don't think it was worthy, if it deserved its name. Even with the Defiant, you're going to be stepping on toes. So to say that the Sao Paulo didn't matter is kinda silly, but in the end we know this is something that was done, and it's very fair to do it if there's a historical reason. And it's a very fair reason if there's historical precedent, but it really doesn't honor the Enterprise to rename the Titan. It sure as hell doesn't honor the Titan. Let's take a look at the in-universe reasons for the change. We know the Enterprise is the most famous name in Starfleet, or even the Alpha Quadrant really. Even the Defiant doesn't match up to it. It was the first ship for the Terrans, it was the name of the ship that defined the 23rd century. It's important, and no one denies that. In fact, continuing some legacy is something that should be done. I completely agree. Hell, maybe every flagship should be named Enterprise. You could even talk me into that. But other ships are important as well. As time moved on, in the 23rd, 24th, and 25th centuries, we saw other vessels. We saw the USS Excelsior, the USS Defiant, hell, the USS Odyssey, and now, the USS Titan. The name did well under Riker, but it made its mark on history under Captain Shaw. To take that, and to do this, make no mistake, it is disrespectful. The ending of this series should have shown a brand new vessel, top of the line, something that was to be feared but could never be controlled like what we saw before. In the episode, we should observe Picard, perhaps excited to see what he thought was going to be the next Enterprise, only to find out it was the USS Titan B. Then have Picard have some kind of acceptance, even excitement at how this was a new era. Writing a scene like that is how you honor the crew that died. This is how you honor a ship that has proven itself. Changing its name to the USS Enterprise G was, at best, a nostalgia grab from Starfleet admirals that just lost all of their fellow players at the local bingo hall and wanted to grasp on to an aging era. It was, at worst, a propaganda move after a horrific ordeal to ensure that the command structure didn't change, that those in power stayed in power. Now let me do something that I rarely do. Let's talk about this from an out-of-universe experience. Let's also be honest. At best, Star Trek the original series, the one that aired in 1966, was a snub against modern conceptions. It had a diverse crew that went on science fiction space cowboy romps. Now, if you're more realistic and you're cynical, it was a show that largely tried to appeal to white audiences while still having some diversity and placing an African American female in the background of most episodes and definitely in the movies. They often forgot about her and other characters of color. If you don't believe me, just go watch the series and the movies. This would change over time, of course, especially during DS9 and Voyager. Then the franchise was revitalized in 2017. Now, at best, that was a reimagining of Star Trek into a more diverse cornucopia with the same Trek spirit that highlighted even more diversity and could be done with computers to make things seem more realistic and fun. At worst, it was woke bait that split the fandom and caused a rift that we're still healing from today. Which leads up to Picard Season 3, where everyone has effectively come together and finally learned that you can have both. You can have diversity, representation of the LGBT, you can address social ills, and not bash the original audience and have the Trek spirit. Okay, so with that out of the way and what the franchise is, renaming this ship to the Enterprise G was nothing but nostalgia bait. It was meant to show that the name Enterprise would carry on and we would have grand new adventures. But that has one vital mistake. It assumes that the entire story revolves around the Starship Enterprise. And regardless of what the anti-Trekker likes to say, it doesn't. This was honestly their chance to show what Trek was. Showing diversity in science fiction cowboy romps, with some intellectual discussions around it. It's more than the Enterprise or any individual person. It's more than Picard, it's more than Kirk, it's more than Sisko, it's more than Shaw, it's more than Janeway. It's an idea, a hope. See, this was their chance. The voyages of the USS Enterprise had ended, and now we were set to go on new adventures. The adventures of the USS Titan. The Enterprise could have still been there, don't get me wrong. There could have been an Enterprise G, most assuredly, but it didn't need to be the one the heroes were on. That's missing the whole point of Trek. The point of Trek is that it doesn't matter who you are, where you are, or what ship you serve on. The idea matters. Diversity matters. What you want to be matters. And what you're accepted for matters. At least in my opinion. What's yours? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to rate and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next Lore Reloaded.
I realize that I'm the last person you want to see right now, but I need your help. Despite the fact that you are indeed a dipshit.
Nice.